In this video, I'm going to be unboxing the eufy X10 Pro Omni robotic vacuum. I've bought this vacuum having had my previous eufy 11S for about 4 or 5 years. Now, this video has been sped up, so you don't have to spend hours and hours watching it to get an idea, but it is worth noting the initial setup process took about 20 minutes. I then allowed the battery to fully charge. It arrived at about 85%, and I allowed it to get to 100%, which took another 10 to 15 minutes. And then it took about another 20 to 25 minutes to map my house before it could start cleaning. So if you need to allocate some time to setting this up, I'd recommend about an hour. That is going to vary depending on 2 major factors. Number one, the speed of your internet, because it's likely you're going to need to install some new firmware on the vacuum. I needed to do that when mine arrived. So yeah, that will depend on the speed of your internet. And number two, the size of your house, because obviously the larger the house, the longer it's going to take to map the house. Now you can see there on the top of the box there was instructions to follow as to how to install and set up the vacuum itself. I have to say it was quite simple, quick and relatively easy to do. As you can see here, I'm just taking off all the film off the base station and the vacuum itself, and you can see that just here. So we have the charger, the vacuum, and you can see the mop parts on the bottom. So now we've unboxed, we're at the getting started stage. So I need to install the base station. Now it does say to set it 1/2 meter away from each side of the wall, but I want it as tucked out of the way as possible. So I kind of went against the sort of instructions here and tucked it quite far into the wall. I've now had it set up here for about 2 weeks. The vacuum's been out about 20 times and I've never had any issues with the vacuum being this close to the wall on the left-hand side there, despite the fact I'm told to do it 1/2 meter away. So if you do want to tuck it out of the way, yeah, it definitely feels like you can do that within reason. I'm now going to get the little ramp to clip that onto the front there, and that ramp then allows the vacuum to slip into the base station nice and easily. One thing I would note is if you're getting this for somebody with mobility issues, compared to the eufy 11S, this vacuum is a little heavier. I say a little, probably 3 to 4 times heavier. So if you're getting this for somebody with mobility issues, you might need to go and set it up for them just due to the weight. So now I'm getting the clean water tank and I am filling that with clean water, as you can see just here. Now again, it's going to depend on the size of your house, but based on my experience and certainly the amount of sort of mopping space you require, but certainly in my case, I'm able to get sort of 3 to 4 mops out of one clean bucket before I need to empty out the dirty bucket and refill with clean. Taking off some more packaging from the vacuum itself here, and now I'm able to roll it into its base station just like so. Now once it's set up just like this, you will hear a little noise and basically some instructions from the vacuum itself talking to you. Now at this point, I realised I needed to check whether a vacuum bag was actually installed, and yes, it does come with a vacuum bag pre-installed. I have still not had to empty this after 2 weeks. Then it was time to set up the actual eufy vacuum on the eufy app. So I did that, no problem, quick and easy to set up. Having previously had a eufy vacuum, I already had the app installed, but as you can see, I needed to update the firmware, and I also wanted to make sure that the battery of the vacuum was at 100% before I sent it running for the first time. You can see here it's charging. Now if you go ahead and you click on that charging area just there, it takes you to another page. So click that and you can see now, if I just click OK, yep, you can see I'm charging and I'm currently at 85%. So it took about another 20 minutes to get it back to 100, and once that was ready, I could do a full home deep clean. Now before you do any cleaning with this vacuum, it does need to map your house. So you go ahead and you say whether you have pets, I don't have pets, whether you need a do not disturb, and I just left it as it is. And then, yeah, you can just set the map going and the vacuum will go. It won't clean anything, it won't mop anything. It is purely going around and mapping your home to determine where the rooms are, what's the size of the rooms. And this is just fascinating to watch. And it does recommend that you have a very clear space. We didn't really plan for this, so we ran around while the vacuum was going to go ahead and clear things up so it didn't get in the way. But you can see here, there are some items that did get in the way and they are marked. And you can actually turn on so you can see what items it had to try and avoid a little later on. So I did that, and once the home has been mapped, as you can see mine just here, then you can go ahead and you can have the vacuum go out and clean your home for the very first time. Now there's a lot of settings you can change here. You can change how much liquid is used by the mop, whether it's a light mop, a medium mop or a heavy mop. You can also have different settings on the vacuum depending on the noise level and the suction quality, and you can customize those for different plans. You've even got like an after dinner cleanup, which with somebody with 2 kids is essential for me. You just select which rooms you want the vacuum to clean and it goes out and it does those rooms only. So you could set that to go after dinner time. And you can even do that on a schedule. So say you have dinner at 5 o'clock, you could set the vacuum to go out and clean those rooms that get dirty during dinner time at say 6:30 every single day, which is really, really nice. And having had this vacuum now for 2 weeks, I have to say it is expensive, but it is worth every single penny. I plan to have this vacuum for 3 or 4 years. I had my last one for 5 years. So yeah,